On the 30th of October 2025, in Powai, Mumbai, on the first floor of a building called Mahavir Classic, there was a studio space known as Raw Studio. For the past 4 days, auditions for a film were being held there for nearly 100 children. The auditions started around 9:30 in the morning and continued until the evening. All the children were between 8 and 14 years old. They had come from different cities across Maharashtra with their parents or guardians. The studio belonged to a man named Rohit Arya, and he was the one conducting the auditions. Along with Rohit Arya, his project coordinator Rowan, an acting instructor, and a spot boy were also present during the auditions. The schedule was planned so that first there would be auditions, then workshops, and finally trial shoots with the selected children. The entire schedule was supposed to wrap up by the 29th of October. However, Rohit Arya extended the trial shoot by one more day. The 30th of October was the final day of the trial shoot. On that day, Rohit Arya shortlisted 17 children out of a total of 97 and sent them into another room. The remaining 80 children were sent back home with their parents. Inside the studio, along with those 17 children, 2 adults were also present. One of them was the grandmother of a girl named Narayani Jadhav who had come from Kolhapur. It was around 1 p.m., which was usually the lunch break. Everything appeared normal on the surface, but no one had any idea that Rohit Arya's mind was busy executing a terrifying plan that the entire country would soon witness. Rohit told the children in the studio to imagine that a scene was being shot where everyone had to maintain complete silence. The scene was a hostage situation, act that the children had been rehearsing for the past 2 or 3 days. Rohit then closed the shutter and covered all the windows with black curtains. All the children, and even Narayani's grandmother, were watching this happen, but none of them understood what was really going on. Meanwhile, Rohit Arya's project coordinator Rowan had stepped out of the studio with a laptop, but he had forgotten his keys inside. When he went back to collect them, Rohit Arya refused to give him the keys and asked him to leave. Throughout the day, Rowan had already noticed something strange in Rohit's body language and behavior. Now this sudden refusal made him even more suspicious. Rowan ran downstairs and informed another colleague named Ravi that Rohit had kept the keys and was acting strangely. Soon this information spread among the parents who were waiting outside the studio. The section of the studio where the children were present was locked from the inside. Chaos began outside the building. Soon the news reached Powai Police station. Inside the studio, Narayani's grandmother initially could not understand what was happening. However, Rohit locking all the doors and covering the windows with curtains made her uncomfortable. She used her phone to call her daughter, Narayani's mother, who was waiting outside with the other parents. She told her that the children were safe. Then she brought the youngest children near the windows so their parents could see them. The older children also gathered near the glass window and waved to their families outside. But as the children's voices became louder, Rohit Arya suddenly revealed his true intentions. He pointed a gun at them and threatened them to stay silent. A short while later, Rohit posted a video online announcing his demands. In the video, he said that he was not a terrorist and he had no demand for money. He said his demands were simple, moral, and ethical. He only wanted to ask certain questions to some people in the government. He warned that if there was even the slightest wrong move from the authorities, he would set the entire place on fire. The situation had now become extremely serious. There were 19 hostages inside the building, including 17 children. Within half an hour, around 1:45 p.m., a large police force arrived at the scene along with quick response teams, a bomb disposal squad, and fire brigade units. The operation was being led by Senior Inspector Jitendra Sonawane and DCP Dota. In such hostage situations, the most important objective is to safely evacuate the hostages while avoiding any collateral damage. Inspector Sonawane tried to talk to Rohit Arya on the phone and requested him to release the children. During the 80-minute phone call, Rohit's behavior kept changing. Sometimes he sounded calm, while at other times he became extremely aggressive. Sometimes he insisted on speaking to government officials, and at other times he threatened to burn down the entire building. Rohit also claimed that he had a gun, chemical sprays, and motion sensors at the entry points. At 3:45 p.m., Rohit stopped responding and refused to release the children. The families of the children trapped inside were in complete panic. As time passed, the danger increased. So the police quickly formed an 8-member commando team. The hostages were on the first floor of Mahavir Classic, while the other floors were residential. Rohit Arya was standing at the front side pointing a gun at the children, so the commandos could only enter from the back side. Meanwhile, Rowan continued to provide the police with important information about the studio layout. To help the commandos enter, he broke the glass door at the front with a hammer. One commando team entered through the bathroom window at the back after cutting the iron grill. At the same time, another team was positioned near the glass wall, ready to breach simultaneously. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the operation because the safety of the children was at stake. A few minutes later, the operation was over. The commandos successfully rescued all 19 hostages to 17 children and 2 adults without any injuries. All of them were taken to Seven Hills Hospital and later reunited with their families. While everyone felt relieved that the children were safe, what happened to Rohit Arya raised many questions. According to the police briefing, as soon as the commandos entered, Rohit realized what was happening and pointed his gun at the children. Rohit Arya was later declared dead at 5:15 p.m. in the hospital. At first glance, it looked like a case where the kidnapper was killed and the hostages were rescued. But the case was not that simple. As more details emerged, many people began questioning whether Rohit Arya's encounter was genuine or whether it was done to silence him. Rohit Arya was a filmmaker and previously a social activist. He came from a highly educated family in Pune. He studied at Symbiosis International University and later completed an MBA from ISB Mumbai. However, the Indian Film and Television Directors Association stated that they had no verified credentials of Rohit being formally connected with the film industry. Rohit also owned a media company called Apsara Media Entertainment Network and conducted auditions at Raw Studio in Powai. His original name was Rohit Harolkar, but he changed his surname to Arya because he opposed discrimination based on caste. People who knew Rohit described him as a calm and well-natured person. They found it hard to believe that he could be involved in something like this. Rohit became involved with the Swachh Bharat campaign. His short film Let Us Change was adopted by the Maharashtra government for its cleanliness initiative and shown in schools across Maharashtra and Gujarat. He also introduced the concept of Swachhta Monitors, where school children would act as cleanliness ambassadors and discourage people from littering. In 2022, he presented this concept to the Maharashtra School Education Department. The department allowed a trial in some schools, but asked Rohit to arrange his own funding. In 2023, the government approved the project through a resolution and provided about 1 lakh. Around 59 lakh students from 64,000 schools participated. But later the program was merged into another government scheme called Maji Shela Sundar Shela. A budget of 20 crore was allocated for the program. When the results were announced, Rohit claimed that schools with poor ratings were still receiving awards due to influence and corruption. He raised his voice against this alleged corruption. According to him, the education department stopped his payments and began harassing him mentally. Rohit then started running the initiative privately and charged schools 500 as a registration fee. But the department accused him of violating protocol and ordered that the money be deposited into a government account. Soon after, the government launched a similar cleanliness campaign with a budget of 5 crore. Rohit accused the authorities of stealing his idea instead of paying him for his work. Feeling betrayed by the system, he began protesting through hunger strikes and demonstrations. Even after a 45-day hunger strike, nothing changed. Rohit believed that only a dramatic act would force the system to listen to him. However, taking innocent children hostage was never the right way. It was later revealed that Rohit Arya did not actually have a real gun. It was an air gun. He had only planned to stage a hostage situation. Even so, many people now question whether Rohit Arya needed to be killed. They argue that he could have been shot in a non-fatal part of the body and arrested alive. If he had survived, he might have revealed more details about the alleged corruption. An independent magisterial inquiry has now been initiated, and a petition has been filed in the Bombay High Court questioning the encounter. Whether the truth will ever fully come out remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. Sometimes the system itself holds honest people hostage, and the price of freedom can be far too high. If you prefer listening to crime cases in audio format, you can also find our podcast on Spotify through the link in the description. Thank you very much for your love and support.